I've always been able to produce some of the best cannabis in the world. It's because of the intentions I put into the water, the energy I put into the plants. The same cells are in the back of our eye are what the cells are on plants. And they're very, very aware of us.
Welcome back to yet another episode of the Plant.Body.Soul podcast, episode number 16. Can you believe it, G?
Can't believe it. 16. Super excited about this one.
Yeah, where has the time gone? My goodness. This episode, we are really excited to connect with Butch Williams. This is going to prove to be a very rich and eye-opening episode. Butch is a trailblazer in the cannabis industry as well as the psychedelic medicine space. So we're very excited and honored to have a human being like you here with us. Thank you.
Very honored to be here, guys. Super honored.
Butch, before we get started, would you mind sharing just a broad overview, a background, if you will, from your very early stages of humanity to where you are now?
Yeah, well, sure. I'm an Arizona native, which is rare.
Yeah.
I'm a fourth gen, actually,
Oh,
Arizona
wow.
native. So my roots are here, but I studied chiropractic therapy and acupuncture in Whittier, California, and went up to Oregon State University and studied horticulture and biochemical engineering, and got me into the field I'm in now. So I actually was a patient in California. I had rheumatoid arthritis at the time, and started growing marijuana because it was expensive.
Yeah.
And got real good at it. And started competing in high times and doing all stuff.
Oh, wow.
And got connected with an amazing patient. Her name is Angel Rach. And she did a lot to help boost my career into people like Ed Rosenthal, Jeff Jones, Dale Jones, and all the, even Todd McCormick. I got to give him a shout out too, because he's one of the godfathers of cannabis breeding and cannabis with Mel Frank. And anyways, I've just got immersed into the culture and decided that that's what I wanted to dedicate my life. Instead of helping patients with other types of medicine like practice, I wanted to get into the pharmaceutical side, and I started out with the cannabis. And as soon as Arizona legalized in 2010, I packed my family up from Oakland and moved back to Arizona and said, I'm going to get a dispensary.
Sure.
So that's pretty much where I was, how I got back here to
Yeah.
Arizona. So
Well, that was 2010.
Yep, that was 2010.
And what's the name of your dispensary?
My dispensary is the White Mountain Health Center, and we're out in Sun City with all the senior citizens, and it's an amazing spot, and we love our patients out there. It's fun. It's a fun place to be.
From what I understand of your journey through the early legalization of cannabis, you definitely had some challenges in the medical cannabis industry here in Arizona. Can you please share a little bit?
Well, yeah, when I came here, nobody really knew what to do with the law. Well, nobody knew where to get started. So I brought Americans for Safe Access here. I was also a member of NORML in San Francisco.
We love NORML.
Yes. And so I brought my grassroots experience from them. Angel Rach also was a grassroots. She was one of the patients that went all the way to the Supreme Court. And she was Rach versus Gonzalez. She's helped teach me how to really fight and push for what you want.
Sure.
So I didn't know what I was going to do here, but I wanted to kind of educate and help. So I teamed up with like Stacy Tice or Stacy Shepard now, and Eric, I forget his last name. He's going to hate me for that, but you know who you are, Eric. But a lot of the normal people. So I came with Americans for Safe Access, joined with NORML, and then they voted me on the board here. So I was on the board of NORML.
Great.
And started doing grassroots, and we started actually doing caregivers and doing all sorts of things to kind of help the marijuana to not stop. So we started teaching and educating about caregiver options. Rain Baker was one of those main pioneers in, like, she was pushing those farmer markets. She got in some trouble for that, and we needed some people like her to put their necks out and really stir some stuff up. Because what does that do? That got the attention of law enforcement to start regulating this, start putting action into place. And so we started marching. We started going down to the Capitol. We started saying, hey, we're writing the laws. So I did. I started helping I started putting my input and became heavily active in the push for dispensaries to be open and to legalize.
So this was prior to actually receiving the license?
This is prior to getting a license. Yeah, I had no idea how I was going to do that. I sold my business in California, and I had a franchise out here in Arizona called Airmaster. I'll give them a little shout out because they were an awesome little franchise that helped support my family. And that's all I had. And really, you had to have $150,000 liquid cash to apply. You had to have all sorts of different, I forget exactly what you needed, but I know that was the number one thing that I had to hurdle over. And I was a caregiver here to a cancer patient, and he became my business partner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And before he passed away, he helped me out with getting me set for that application, and he had the funds for me available.
Wow.
And so I owe him a huge debt of gratitude, because that's how I was able to qualify to apply. Wow. So I did apply, but it was a little bit unique on where and what happened there. Sun City is a unique city. It's a 55 and older, and it's not technically ran by itself. It's a county island. All of its outlets are governed through Maricopa County, and Maricopa County is big, but because it's ran by Maricopa County, it's also governed by the top prosecutor of Maricopa, who was at the time, you had Tom Horn, and you had Bill Montgomery was the county attorney from Maricopa County, and then you had Jan Brewer. And they were all opposed of this law passing.
Yes.
And so they had a scheme. They said, hey, since this is a county island, we're not going to sign his city ordinance to get a license. So I had all my packet together. I submitted my stuff. I had the location. And guys, it took a lot of my own legwork and a lot of my legwork of my business partners now to put this together. And then for them to not sign that, I didn't take that for an answer. I submitted my application anyway. I said, well, that's on them. And they denied my application. So I sued them.
Wow.
Yep. And I won the lawsuit really quick, that lawsuit, because Judge Gordon, thank you. I won that lawsuit really quick because it's the law. They're supposed to, and I fit every criteria, and they fought every way. So I won. So the Department of Health Services immediately gave me my license.
Oh, great.
However, Bill Montgomery still said, no, this is still illegal. I don't care what the Department of Health says.
Oh, wow.
And he was threatening other employees to tell them, you can have prosecution too if you guys are assisting in this federally illegal substance. So then they slapped me with federal preemption. So now instead of me just trying to get a license and a little city ordinance paper signed, now I'm fighting federal preemption in court against the top prosecutors of Arizona, including the governor had signed on it. So I was 29 years old or 28 years old. I was really naive, and I was really gung-ho. I promised my family that I was going to do this, and I wasn't going to stop. I put every effort into it, and I made sure it was going to happen. So I sued them, not knowing that it was going to bring me into this monster case that I was David and Goliath. I promise you that's how it felt.
Yeah, I'm sure.
In the midst of the fighting, I was going to lose. I had people in the industry who now had to be on hold to open their dispensaries. They won their licenses, and they were not happy with that, because if I lost, then they didn't get their license either. And everything was fine in their end. They could have opened their doors. Their city was working with them. I was the one holding them up. So honestly, they were looking at me. And I had some death threats, and I kid you not. I had calls, death threats. Wow. Not only that, I had people observing my home from they wanted to put me in jail. I know they had they were really putting it on me to either drop the lawsuit from all angles, or to or that I was going to either go to jail or something bad's going to happen to me. I'm like, I've been through worse neighborhoods. I'm not afraid of anybody. And which really I was. I was like, man, what am I going to do? I got to protect my family.
Sure.
But we got through it. We weren't doing anything illegal, but they were trying to catch me to do something. And I was going by the rules. That's why I'm here today talking to you guys. But we ended up winning. We ended up winning federal preemption after 3 years. And ended up opening in 2013. And went from from zero to hero in the community real quick. And
that's great.
Yeah.
So about 10 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep. So that's my whole little, in a quick synopsis of what I've done in the cannabis for Arizona.
Amazing. Wow. What are some of the unique experiences of managing a dispensary like White Mountain Health?
Especially in today's industry.
Yeah. Initially, I really just enjoyed the interaction with my patients. I loved working with all the employees and teaching them. If it's not good enough for us, it's not good enough for them. And we really held ourselves to that standard as a mom and pop. You can go in our dispensary and see that we're lined up with all the Weed Maps awards. In fact, we've won Weed Maps Dispensary of the Year several times. So
we love Weed Maps.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Weed Maps is the best.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to give them a plug, but they've really done a lot for my dispensary. And we're mom and pop against now a corporation out here. There's a lot of corporations out here. But we still won the best baked edible, and we still won the best medical marijuana dispensary in Arizona. That's Amazing. What we won. Wow. We didn't win the best rec, but I'm focusing on my medical patients.
Sure.
Right.
Come in for your rec. Yes, please. I'm happy to rec with you.
Yeah, exactly.
But I got into this because it's medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so is it safe to say that the demographic is older in Sun City in terms of your patients? Has it always been that, or?
It has, and it always probably will. Okay. And we have them pulling up in their golf carts.
Amazing.
We know them by name. And because we are winning awards, and we're award-winning dispensary, we do have quite the mix. But I hands down have to be. I don't know everybody else's statistics, but just because of my where I'm at, I have to have the highest 55 and older group, and they are amazing. They are such great people.
You know, there are not that many mom and pop dispensaries left.
Last I heard, there's like 7 of us left.
It kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, me too.
You know, it's like the little guy is like disappearing. But thank you for, being one of the 7 originals that have lasted and have really continued with the patient or customer care the way that you have.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So shifting a little bit from cannabis, we've heard how you really have been blazing trails in that space. Now, I know that you are very involved in the psychedelic space. Mm-hmm. And in terms of your work with Sue Sisley, how do you view the work that you're doing, how it will impact the future of psychedelic research and medicine?
We're laying the foundation. It's going to have the biggest impact, I believe, in my heart, or else I wouldn't be doing this. I've worked with Sue Sisley for probably over 10 years now. At the same time, I've been working with my own dispensary. I saw some amazing person that's in Arizona, and I wanted to team up with her and help her. She wanted to start the war against the DEA to federally grow marijuana for her patients, because what was getting given to her by the studies from Mississippi were deemed absolutely unusable.
The worst weed.
I mean, we've tested it, and it had lead in it. It had all sorts of stuff. I mean, they just take the whole plant and shred it in a shredding machine, pack it up in these tins and they send it. There's still federal patients out there. I don't know if anybody knew that, but there's still federally recognized patients that the federal government gives marijuana to in tins
Wow.
every month.
Interesting.
300 marijuana cigarettes to to patients. Irvin Rosenfeld is one of them. Look, he's one of my buddies.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So the federal government knows the use of it. They've been growing it through Mississippi, so the Mississippi's had a monopoly on it. So Sue Cicely goes, I'm going to sue him. So I go, I feel you, girl. I'm suing. I'm suing too.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And together we kind of just like held hands and marched up those steps together. And I helped her with hers, and she helped me with mine, and we supported each other. So we've been trailblazing that, and we won. That took a lot longer for her to win that one. And I give her all most credit. And Matt Zorn, who's the attorney that really worked on that. Matt did a lot of stuff for this industry that nobody even knows. So I want to thank him. And Sue Cicely is just one of those. And I told her the day I saw her, the very moment, I go, Sue, you have no idea. You're going to be a rock star. She's a true doctor. She listens to her patients. That's why she started studying marijuana, because the veterans that she was helping said, Sue, all the pills the VA's giving me are no good. I really been getting help with marijuana. And Sue listened. And Sue fought for them. That is an amazing doctor.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now the patients come to her and said, hey, Sue, psilocybin mushrooms have been working. And instead of judging them, she went to the DEA, got the only license in the United States of America to grow full-bodied psilocybin mushrooms for research. And I'm honored to be a part of that, part of helping her with that. And there's a lot more that we're working with, that we're intending to do with psychedelics beyond these two, because we know that there's a whole host of drugs out there that we have yet to explore, that have been taken away from us by just fear, the government's fear. I have a personal story that I lost somebody very close to me, my late wife, to mental health, and I'm gonna do this research until the day I die, and I'm gonna ensure that everybody has access to mental health, no matter what, no matter who says they can take what. Because when someone's that far down their mental health, there's nobody should be able to tell them what to do to help them feel better, to help them get out of that psychosis. And I'm going to help fight to prove that these work. And we're seeing some amazing results. And we're doing studies with autistic children, not with psychedelics, but I guess with the cannabis stuff. We're doing stuff. We're moving on to bigger groups, and we're starting to see these things moving forward. Now,
So beyond vets.
beyond vets, we're now looking at late-term cancer or late-term death. Some terminal patients are now, I believe, allowed to apply. It's at the Scottsdale Research Institute. If anybody wants to get more information on Sue Cicely's work, the patients that she's looking for. Also, we're always looking for donations. We've put a lot of our own heart, sweat, tears, money, donation from beautiful people, time. This is a labor of love, and I don't know how we got it out of anybody else. I think it's because maybe our hearts were connected to the true passion for it. Like I said, she's a true doctor that listens to patients. I believe I'm a true scientist that wants to make good medicine. We're trying to do it legally. We're doing it exactly how the DEA wants us to do it, and I'm so proud to be part of that. And I'm excited to work with her on that. And so it's an exciting time.
That's super exciting.
Incredible. Yeah. Biochemical engineering is also, you have that horticulture background. Like, how does your experience in both of those areas influence the way that you grow things or produce these psychedelics?
Well, I have more of a very quantum mechanic type approach to things. And I like to say quantum mechanics because honestly, it's very spiritual. But as a scientist, I understand, and that's what brought me to the spiritual side, is quantum mechanics, because it explains the laws of chemistry, the laws of physics, the laws of life. Bioengineering is co-creating with who created I. And so when I do that, I do it with an approach of an intention. You can set intention and power into anything you do. You set intention into most things. Plants are a living example of how we should live, in my personal experience. They are super amazing observers of their atmosphere. People don't realize it, but they the same cells are in the back of our eye are what the cells are on plants.
Wow.
And they're very, very aware of us. And so I put every intention into that and let them know I'm here and I'm going to give them everything of me and be excited for them. And I've always been able to produce some of the best cannabis in the world. It's because of the intentions I put into the water, the energy I put into the plants. They talk to me. And I say that with all respect that I'm not crazy, but I feel them. It's not that I hear them going, "Hey, Butch, you doing? I need some nitrogen." It's not like that, but I feel what they're like. I just feel them.
For sure.
And I do that same with any type of chemistry. Chemistry to me is magic. It's a magical thing to see some reactions. It's a love affair. It's also a give and take of molecules and atoms, taking a nitrogen atom and replacing it with a sulfur atom, and then all you have a psychedelic substance. And you can do that with most anything that you're looking through. And to me, that's quite impressive that we can induce some type of a visual experience or a euphoric experience within oneself. And personally, knowing that, I know that can unlock or break down the veil for those that might be hurting, those that might be suffering. They've been meditating for years and never able to break through anything. One experience on the psychedelics will open that key for them, and they'll forever have the ability to see. And I truly believe that's a gift we need to share and enlighten. We're at the tipping point of consciousness right now in our society, and it's very tangible. Everybody can see it. We're on one side or the other. Both sides can only do so much to get this balance of positive and negative energy that's real. It just depends on how many of us are going to be able to continue to do the work, and everybody else opens their mind, and then that tipping point opens. There's going to be a huge mass of love and beauty. And I know that this is going to be one of the ways to open this awareness to others, to stop depression, to stop anxiety, to no longer have fear in our lives. Fear is an invention of the mind, and to really let go. Everything's okay. We're okay. And that's what I want to share. That's why I'm doing the work with Sue that I'm doing.
Now, clearly, you are a spiritual person. How do you incorporate the spirituality into other aspects of your professional life? I mean, you're a scientist, so can you be spiritual and
it's an
scientific?
Oxymoron,
Yeah,
to be honest, you can't at first.
Okay.
I thought I was God, and I mean this with all due respect. As the observer, I understand that quantum mechanics, I am the one that is creating the object to appear just by being the observer. Molecules, the same molecule can be at two separate places at two different times. And by me, that's baffling. That means I'm in some type of matrix. I don't want to use that, but we are in a digital program. And it's what makes sense now is that I am receiving this, and I am just receiving nothing but frequency through the light on the occipital lobe in the back of my mind is being able to receive this and translate it into the visual I'm seeing now. And what's unique about that is, okay, I'm creating this and I can manifest things now because I can control my environment. So here's Butch, the scientist, thinking, I'm God. When you have these frequencies and we're translating them, and you started making sense to me that all of this really is just an illusion my body's telling me of what I'm consciously experiencing. Wow, I'm God. I can create anything, and I'm doing this until you don't. Until something it took something really heavy for me to experience that there is something way beyond me. I had to lose my identity of knowing and being an ego man. I still have an ego, but being the guy who's saying, this is my world. I get to do whatever I want and control everything. And when I found out I can't control anything and that I know nothing, I realized quickly that I had to supplicate myself to some higher source. I'm a very connected Kabbalist. Judaism is for me what brought me my grounding, what brought me back to me not being me. And being a quantum theorist, I understand that if I'm the observer of this cup, and because I'm observing this cup, it's here. When I'm not observing it, it's not here. That why not stop observing me? And I did stop observing me for a moment. And I broke into nothing and became everything, one with the universe. That was a very unique experience. One that I've multiply tried to emulate, but I haven't been able to break that like that again. Becoming nothing. And I know that's what all the Buddhists and all the Zen masters say. Become nothing and you become everything. Made complete sense. You cannot. I am you, you are me. We are consciously experiencing the source together. And that's why I believe that science proved to me that I am nothing, but collectively everything.
A part of everything and apart from nothing, I am that. So,
So, Butch, we also know that you are a professor at Penn Health, which is at Penn State. Would love to just understand more about what you do there, how long you've been working there, what that's like.
I got an opportunity to work with Penn Health this goes back to Sue Sisley again, trailblazing the Pennsylvania's drugs. Licensees can participate working with other universities there, and that's a cool opportunity that you have. Penn Health offered me a job. Now just a paid consultant. I'm no longer on staff, but I am. I go there about every 6 weeks, and we go through the curriculum and seeing the changes, making new medicines that that the state has never had access to. We were the first ones to make a syrup in the state of Pennsylvania, and it's the only one recognized available for patients in the state of Arizona under Penn Health. So that's a beautiful...
Available in Arizona? Or
Nope, it's only available in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So patients would be able to get that there, which Pennsylvania's a very weird market. You cannot have like pre-rolls. You can't have like...
Really?
No flour.
Yeah, well, you can buy flour. You can't like sell it like that.
A pre-roll.
Like a pre-roll. You can't
Weird.
have... you can have a vape pen, but no edibles at all.
No edibles?
Zero. So it was very,
I
very,
would be
very...
so bummed.
Very cool.
And it's adult use?
It's adult. No, it's only
Medical.
Only
medical.
medical. Okay.
And so it's very rare, very unique that we got licensed to out there to do the syrup. And so I'm very, very proud to have been part of that.
Great.
Part of it, yeah.
Gosh, so if you're a medical patient and you have like lung cancer and you're not supposed to vaporize anything and you want to take an edible for your relief, how does that work?
Well, that's why we said, you know what, we're going to do a cough syrup. It's not an edible. It's syrup. It's a cough syrup. It's a cough suppressant. So we got away with being able to push it that way.
Wow.
Great.
Yep. Like we said, we got to trailblaze.
Think out of the box.
Yep.
Yeah. Cannabis does teach you that, doesn't it?
It really does.
The industry, man. It's
same.
Ooh,
yeah, the
Wild
marketing
West.
side too. It's like, how creative can you possibly get? Let's see. Yeah. Reflecting on your career, what have been some of your biggest challenges and most rewarding achievements?
There's a shout out to Xander Welton. He was the child who had epilepsy here in Arizona, and I was his caregiver helper with Dr. Trout, and he put him and his family, Jennifer and Jacob Welton, put their necks out on the line to get edibles legal here. Because remember that Bill Montgomery tried to stop that here and concentrates and all that. We owe that child, because he had passed away. We owe that child, and a lot of people don't understand their rights now. They have a lot of rights because of him. The courts won because of him that we have that amount of cannabis available to concentrate and edible form because of that child. So that's probably one of my, I think that even though it wasn't me, I was there and I have no one that helped be part of that. Yeah. So it was nice to be part of that with him. I think the best has yet to come, Jennifer. I think that I don't even think I've seen the best yet.
What advice would you give to someone who is looking to make an impact in either cannabis or psychedelic research, or maybe just in life? Maybe somebody's just sitting here feeling stuck and they need some words of advice.
The best word of advice is that I would give is you are enough, and you need to really do what you're passionate about. Don't try to make an impact. Don't force trying to do anything but what you love. Really love what you do. And that heart frequency is how you will accomplish anything that you want. Any goal, anything you're passionate about in the industry, be passionate about it. Just be excited. Change that mindset from that low frequency mind that's always constantly spinning wheels to the beautiful love heart frequency that's 5,000 times more potent than our little minds. Mm-hmm. Think with that heart. Work with the heart, like from the heart, with whatever you do. And no matter what it is, you will always be successful.
I would love to know the first time you got high on either cannabis or psychedelics. You choose. Give me some of the deets.
Okay.
Yeah, share.
I was at school and I had a friend. I'm not going to name his name because I know everybody knows him, and he sold me a hit of acid in 7th grade. And I didn't know what it was. He says, "You want to see the walls melt?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Of course I do.
Absolutely do. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. And he said, I go, "How much?" He goes, $5. I go, "My dad just gave me $5 to go for lunch this week. I guess I'm not eating lunch this week, but I will try walls melting." And sure enough, it worked. And I was like, it blew my mind. I'm in class playing my saxophone. I remember looking at these weird, the ceilings, how they have I see it moving a little bit. And I'm like, it's working. And then I look down at my saxophone, and you can only imagine.
No way. You were in school.
Absolutely, yeah. And I go, "Mr. Murphy, I need to go to the bathroom." And I put my saxophone and I'm like, "What?" And I literally walked to the bathroom, and they in our school it had those little pebbles on the walls, and I was watching them moving and melting, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in heaven. This is awesome, neat." And then I looked at my hands, and I started, and then the bell rang. I spent that whole bathroom period in the bell, so I ran to go put my saxophone up. And by that time, I was really going. Went to PE. I remember it was next. And I had asthma, and I'm like, "Coach, asthma's kicking in. Gonna have to sit this out."
Yeah.
And so I remember sitting there and observing all these kids play basketball and all the tracers and seeing it. And then kids caught notice of me just geeked out or whatever. Yeah. They start throwing the ball at me, and I was like Matrix for real. Last minute, the ball hit in there.
Amazing.
And I was like, "What? Go!" And I remember, in the whole class, I would look at the carpet, and nobody knew a thing. And I went out right around the time I was getting home. I discovered a whole new power of my mind. Awesome power of my mind, and that's that was my first drug experience ever.
Wow, that could be the best answer to that question.
Yeah, I think that's probably I would agree. Yeah, I'd love to hear how you define the connection between mind, body, and soul.
Our mind, our body, and soul are uniquely intertwined as one, but so distinctively different from each other. Our body is but a mere vessel like this glass. The water inside this, I would consider the soul. It's the essence of what you want to hold. And the mind, now the mind is quite unique, right? Because you can mess up the mind. Those that have had family with a debilitated tumor in the mind, or those that have had family with dementia or Alzheimer's, would very well attest to what I'm saying, that they become a different person. So what is the mind? Is it the personality? Or is it just the receiver of what we are? Mm. The mind is nothing but a scrambled computer that helps us, our soul, to experience something. Mm. So the mind is nothing but a filter to help the spirit become an entity that others can recognize.
I love this answer.
I like that. Tell us what your perfect day looks like from start to finish.
A perfect day it's pretty simple. Experiencing one thing of awe a day is considered a perfect day for me. So if I can charge myself and experience an awe-inspiring moment, something that takes my breath away.
Well, Butch, is there anything you want to leave our listeners with? Also, perhaps where they can find you, where can they get in touch with you? And
You can't find me. Don't look for me. Just teasing. Bong Butch on Instagram. Yeah,
Bong
come
Butch,
look at me.
yep.
Yeah, BONG, not with an I, guys. Please, please, please.
You know, if people are interested in donating to the cause of Afterglow Alliance,
Can they reach out to you guys?
we can absolutely have you reach out to us at hello@Plant.Body.Soul.com, and we will be happy to make the connection. Well, it's been a lovely experience with you three, and I'm super grateful that we could share time and space together.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Butch.
The honor's been
Butch.
mine, guys. Thank you so much.
That's great.
Thanks, G.